jump off your feet. Jump off, get off your seat, jump around, jump up and get down. Today I am going to map out the blueprint for your off-season training so you know what you need to be working on and when. Of your typical off-season. A typical off-season is about 4 months, give or take. If you get bounced early from the playoffs, then you will do probably an early off-season phase. But otherwise, the 4 phases we're going to talk about today are movement, functional, strength, and power. And don't get too hung up on the labels. So it's not to say, so we don't work strength until way down here. During the functional phase, we're working strength. During the movement phase, we're working strength. During the power phase, we're still working strength, but in different ways. So in a typical off season, this would be May, this would be June, this would be July, and this would be August. And this is just one way that I design programs. There are different, more sort of in-depth or complex periodization schemes, but this is my steady Freddy. This is the one that any goalie who starts working with me will start with this type of periodization. Here are all the things that we have going on in your movement phase. This is the first phase. Again, this would typically be sort of the month of May, give or take. Typically, we'll do 3 full body workouts in this phase, but in the Game-Winning Goalie Formula, my online coaching program, I've set up 3 different kind of levels or tiers based on where you're at as a goalie. Are you an adult goalie, a recreational goalie, high school AAA goalie, professional goalie? So some of you would do an upper-lower split, but just to keep it simple, typically this phase would be 3 full body workouts. There would be really specific tempos on the big lifts to try to affect soft tissue changes. So trying to strengthen your soft tissue, or I should say your connective tissue, so that as we get into subsequent phases where we're going to be lifting heavier loads, that connective tissue is good and strong. Because what happens when we just get in the gym and start ripping off, 8 to 12 reps of bench, for 3 sets, is our muscles are going to get stronger. So we're going to say, wow, that's easy now. I'm going to add a little bit more weight. You add a little bit more weight. Oh yeah, that's easier. You add a little bit more weight. Your muscles are getting stronger faster than your connective tissue can adapt. And so when I worked in the sport medicine clinic, that's where I first learned this. It's like, why do people always come in with, shoulder tendinosis or something like that? That's a connective tissue issue, kind of 8 to 10 weeks after they've just started working out. And they tell me almost the exact same story every time. I was doing great, I was feeling great, but now all of a sudden, for whatever reason, my shoulder hurts. It's because because they just didn't know any better, but they didn't take the time to let that connective tissue get a bit of a head start before we started cranking on building muscle strength. So then thereby you create a weak link, and your body will always show you where the weak link is. So we'll do things like slower eccentrics, some iso holds to work on that specifically. We'll resolve any movement dysfunctions. That's job number 1. If you can't move through the range of motion that you need to move through to do either an exercise or to perform on the ice, we need to figure that out. Is this an irreducible limitation? Is this something like a bony hip impingement that we need to be aware of and train around this off season? Or is this just a pattern that you don't have because of maybe muscle imbalances or that type of thing? So we want to clear those up right away. So this is kind of where that inside out approach, you can see it coming, right? We're not just, we're going to start building strength. We need to build that infrastructure first. We need to build from the inside out. We'll also start building stamina foundation just to increase a little bit of load tolerance. When I do stamina work with the goalies I train, it is ground-based. It isn't just like going for a jog or riding the bike. It's stopping, starting, changing direction, vertical agility, So I need to make sure that they, we can't get into that in the later phases all at once, and then again they're going to start getting plantar fasciitis, irritated Achilles, shin splints, things like that. So we'll do some really basic ground-based stamina work, even just low intensity. We might actually do like some easy running or some easy soccer field shuffles just to help your body adapt. And the category 2 workout does help build capillary density, does help increase mitochondrial density. So again, building all the infrastructure for the training that's going to come. Same goes with the speed foundation. So when we're building a speed foundation, I always start with deceleration. So teaching deceleration mechanics in this first phase, because if you're going to change direction, the first thing you have to do is be able to stop really efficiently. So that's where we start with that. So that is essentially your movement phase. So 3 full body workouts. Let's just say they would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday would be a stamina base workout. Thursday would be a speed base workout. And Saturday would be another stamina base workout. And what, I know you're going to be like, well, what are the exercises? What the exercises are is going to depend on your age, your training status, your injury history, what equipment you have available to you, what your schedule is with other things that you have going on in your life. So it would sort of be negligent for me to be like, and here are all the exercises, because I don't even know if it would be negligent, it would be impossible, because there's so many different things that we can have. Like I said, in the game-winning goalie formula, I ran into this problem, so I created 3 different levels of workout so that we could kind of capture those different buckets. So now we're moving on to our functional phase. In a typical off season, this would sort of be around the month of June, where we would do 3 times a week full body workout or go into an upper lower split. And again, that depends on your training experience, your injury history, and what your schedule is like. How much are you on the ice? Do you have training camps? What else is going on? So we make that decision individually. So the whole key here, or the underlying concept that I'm always thinking of when I design workouts in the functional phase is, how can I challenge this athlete, this goalie, to produce force and stabilize at the same time that's going to help them on the ice? Now, that's not to say everything we do is unstable. People are going to be like, I should probably stand on a ball and do barbell squats. No, not that unstable, not so unstable that it really takes away all of this force production element of the exercise. And we still do some big strength exercises on a very stable base. This is where if I was going to put a squat into the program, probably it's going to appear in this phase. But we're also doing things like chops, lifts, frontal plane movements to balance, single leg squatting, iso holds in some more goalie specific positions like an RVH, building tolerance and local muscular strength, local muscular stamina in those positions. We work on outer range strength, and we'll do this using a lot of isometrics in this early phase. So it's a very safe way that we can build outer range strength and the foundation for what's going to come next when we get a little bit more dynamic with our outer range exercises. Then the stamina starts to heat up in this phase. It doesn't get as bad as it's going to get, but it starts to heat up. So we will introduce shuttle runs, goalie-specific agility or stamina that will include vertical agility, stop starts, iso holds. We'll do a little bit medium to longer duration intervals, but nothing really in excess of 90 seconds. And for speed and power, we're going to transition to making sure there's good single leg deceleration mechanics so that you can decelerate on one leg and not lose that knee alignment, not lose the stability at your hip, not lose the control of your torso. So we'll work on that. We'll work on initiating power from a standstill, because we don't, when you're moving as a goalie, you don't want to have to kind of load and go. You want to just be very explosive, moving from a perfect standstill. then we do that in different ranges of motion, from a position that would be like from a stance on your skates, a position that would be from the butterfly. We start working on initiating power in the outer range, so that if you are a little reaching or a little extended or you're in your wide stance, you can still learn to generate more power from those positions. And then we also will start doing some linking contractions to get a plyometric effect. So even just something as simple as, repeated squat jumps, repeated hurdle hops, those types of things would come in here. Moving on to strength. Now it's getting good. So now we're into your max strength phase, where you will do 3 full body workouts or an upper lower split. Now when you think upper lower split, don't think like, oh, so I do like back and biceps and, and that type of upper lower split. But our goal here is to maximize your force production capacity, because that feeds into how much power you can produce. And we'll talk about it in the next phase, in the power phase. But we want to build that tank. But we want to do it primarily using single leg lifts that also require some element of stability, so that not just our big prime movers are getting stronger, but our smaller stabilizing muscles are getting stronger, and more importantly, getting smarter, so they can really control, for example, your hip joint. Which not only improves performance, but it also reduces wear and tear. So again, the whole time I'm thinking of my inside-out approach and trying to follow those guidelines, making sure that infrastructure is strong enough so that we can build a lot of strength and then convert that to power and use it on the ice. We're going to use overcoming and yielding isometric. So overcoming isometric is basically pushing against an immovable object. A yielding isometric is trying to hold a load and not let it lower, basically. So we're going to use those, but in combination with more dynamic effort. So we'll use isometrics in the previous phases. They're a fantastic tool. But in this, now we'll start doing, so we might do an overcoming isometric, and then go into a dynamic effort, which might be, something like a squat jump or a knee down skate bound or something like that, that is dynamic. It's dynamic in effort. Yes, thus dynamic effort. Stamina. Stamina will, this will be your hardest month of stamina. So this would typically be the month of July. This will be your hardest month for stamina. There will be more vertical agility, more iso holds. There will be read and react elements, so we'll use some apps like on an iPad or whatever to have to then respond. So it's not just like, okay, we're going to do this drill for a minute. It's like, okay, well, like if you see this, you need to do that. And if this happens, you have to do that. So that your brain is working while your muscles are working, almost just like being hockey goalie, right? So, and we'll do quite a few with incomplete rest. So you don't have the time to recover before you have to go again. Just in case your team is one of those teams that likes to take like a 5-minute major in the dying seconds of the third period and can't clear the zone very well. You never know. And some of these stamina workouts we'll do in July too, I really call them, and I tell you, like, this is a survival workout. So that when you're in practice or a game situation, nothing is going to be worse than this. So you have that confidence. I've done worse. This might be hard. I have done worse. So it's a bit of a grinder. For speed and agility should never be hard. If you're gassed after a speed workout, then whoever designed your speed workout blew it. Because speed is about, using your muscles at maximum force. If fatigue is creeping in, then you're no longer producing maximal force, and your nervous system isn't firing as fast as it possibly can. So now you're not really making progress in speed. But we'll do more linked patterns, so not just predictable, like, okay, we're going to do squat jumps now for, to build your power. But it might be like, simple example would be like squat jump lateral hop into a squat jump lateral hop. So 2 different movement patterns that you have to link. We might do some ladder drills that, incorporate different movements or changes of pattern or read and react. So that's what will come in this phase. Do we use medicine balls? Yes. We use different tools in all different phases. Again, the exercises are a little bit more specific to where you're at, where you're coming from, where you're trying to get to. But these are the basic concepts that we follow. Let me go back to the schedule, and this would be the same if you're doing an upper-lower split. It would be typically Monday and Thursday are lower body workouts and stamina. Tuesday and Friday are upper body workouts plus speed. Typically we do stamina after lower body lift, and we do speed before the upper body lift. That leaves Wednesday and Saturdays as sort of flux days. Sometimes I'll give guys and girls, like, they want to do a bodybuilder workout on Wednesday. I'll do it the way I want it done, but we can do that. Saturday, sometimes we'll do a hill workout. That'd be 30 minutes, quite high intensity, working a lot on leg power using a hill. Or, it could be something else. If you're on the ice a lot, those could be days that you're on the ice. Those could be recovery days. Those could be, days that you do restorative work. Those are sort of flux days. But that's how we'll arrange this stuff. And now we are in the power zone. So for most of you, this will be August. And it really depends a little bit too on your camp schedule, your training camp schedule, where it's going to go for you. But 3 full bodies or upper lower split. The focus is on increased rate of force production. So our loads will go down, but the intensity will go up. We want to see how fast you can accelerate that load. That's basically what power is. We'll do overcoming power. I think this is really important for goalies so that, you can make those explosive movements from a standstill. Also think it helps really with those bang bang plays where maybe you're really stretched out, but you need to then change direction and get back. Stamina will decrease in duration. So we'll keep the intensity quite high, but the duration will come down. The duration of the working sets, repetitions will come down. You'll get a little bit more complete rest. Because we want you feeling fresh. We don't want to crush you heading into training camp. We want you still having that stamina, but feeling really good and ready to go. For speed and agility, there'll be more elements of read and react. Again, to sort of work on that bang bang play type of thing, I'm having to, slide to my left, and then all of a sudden I have to recover and get back to my right. And recovering out of awkward positions, so being powerful and explosive out of an awkward position, out of the RVH, out of, an extended sort of pad save, trying to get specific speed and power like that. Because doing plyometrics and box jumps, it's a great way to build a foundation, but it doesn't really translate into what you need to do on the ice. So we need to start moving into those areas. Speed is a skill, and so, you should be taught speed and agility, not trained it. It's someone should be helping you figure out those movement patterns. So is this making sense to you? Or are you just I just go to the gym and lift as much as I can? Let me know. Drop a comment below what questions that you have. Help guide me. Help me help you. It is very complicated. I studied this for 6 years at university. It didn't take me 6 years to get an undergrad. I did my master's too, so smart Alex. And I've been doing it for more than 25 years. But I'm trying to boil it down and kind of give you the key ingredients that you need to make sure, okay, yeah, I've got that. I've got it covered. That you aren't just kind of working hard or doing the same thing all off season and think that that's going to deliver results. And I know that you're going to have questions about, well, what are the best exercises? What's the best tempo? How many reps should I do? And like I already explained, the answer is it depends. But if you're at that stage where you want to have the right kind of program, if you just want to go to the gym and work hard and work out with your friends, that's totally cool too. But if you're like, no, I need every minute I put into training this off season to pay a dividend when I get back on the ice with my team next season, then you need to be looking at one of my programs, because I've got it all designed for you. Plus, like I said, it depends. So I have a coaching group where I'm in there, I'm accessible, you can ask questions, we can troubleshoot together, we can figure out which of those, 3 levels or buckets you belong in, where you're going to get the best results for you. So if you're at the stage where it's like, yeah, you know what, just give me the exercises, the tempos, the sets, what days to do what, and I'm going to do it, then check out the link in the description below that says something like, see if we can work together, and we'll have a conversation about it to see if it's the right fit. If it is, fantastic. It's going to be an incredible off-season and an even better in-season for you. And if it's not the right fit right now, that's totally cool too. And just to make sure that your off-season training, if you go it on your own, just to make sure that your off-season training isn't giving you bad habits on the ice, which happens more often than not, check out this video where I go through exactly what those bad habits are and how to avoid them. If you are nowhere near ready to start a comprehensive off-ice training program, you want something a lot simpler, it won't take a lot of time, then check out either the Butterfly Challenge or the Splits Challenge. They're both free. The links are in the description for you there, so you're welcome. And when you are ready to step up a few levels, 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, I'll be here ready to help you out. Really, I'll be here either way, because I will see you next week. I'm not going to stop trying to help you become the goalie you want to be. But at some point, you're going to have to put in the effort. You're going to have to take action if you want to see change. So that's all I'm just saying. I will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Amateur hour. Don't forget to hit like, please. Cheers.